I have over 10,000 pictures
of the war.
Nobody else has it. Nobody. And I allow them to use it. If they want to use it, use it.
You know, sometimes when I'm reading the book, I spend more time on the pictures.
Yes, that's it.
I spend more time on the pictures.
You know why? Because the story in the book was too good to be true. If the pictures were not there, nobody would believe the book. It was like going to capture Obubra. Nobody died, and I captured the whole state. How did you do that? The picture proved it.
You know, on page 148, there's this picture there.
Okay.
148. A 50-foot long snake swallowed a soldier.
Okay.
We killed the snake with the soldier still inside.
Yes.
That scene.
All right. I got there. I was 27 years old. And I was afraid. But as the officer, I couldn't run away. Shoot the bastard, kill the snake. They said, we've been shooting all day. One said, I finished my magazine, the snake no die, oh.
By this time, the snake had swallowed the soldier.
They would strike.
And it wasn't moving.
They couldn't move. Because the soldier's head was already, only the boots were outside. And what happened? They fired and the snake did not die. So then I said, all right. You want the snake to die? I said, yes, sir. Take my grenade, touch my head. I was just boasting. They touched my head with the grenade, throw the grenade, and the snake went into pieces.
The soldier was gone.
It was already gone now when the snake swallowed. The snake will first of all strike before swallowing.
So it means Nigerian troops were fighting in rough terrains.
I wrote in this book that we were not just fighting Biafra. We were fighting the mangrove forest, the topography. We were fighting the mangrove forest. You saw the pictures. We even killed an elephant. There is an elephant here.
Yes, I saw
the second was a female. And I told them not to kill that one, to let that one go. Oh yeah. The snakes in the water, the mud. The pictures here showed what we went through in Marine Commando. In 1 division and 2 division, I mean, driving from Benin to Asaba, where was the problem they had? Or driving from Kaduna or going to Enugu to Umaya, what was the problem on the way?
You spent most of your time during the war
fighting the elements. It was raining every day. The pictures are here.
You were in the 3rd Marine Commando.
In 3 Marine Commando, I couldn't see you. You're about 10 meters from me. I couldn't see you.
Adekunle was the commander.
Adekunle was our commander, was the GOC.
And the story of the war from that end sometimes can be scary.
Of course it is. Because so my soldiers, I lost 8 soldiers in the Scorpion strategy, the advance to Port Harcourt from Calabar. When they saw the expanse of water linking the Cross River to the Atlantic, they panicked. That was the first canoe, and that was why he died about this officer. I want to mention his name, General Daramola, SF Daramola. He died about 2 months ago. May he rest in peace. He became the commander of the depot, the training depot at Abeokuta. And we said what was most important to us was that they must let the soldiers in training to go and see expanse of water in Lagos before bringing them to the war front. People panicked. We were in the middle of the ocean. They panicked. And that's why I lost those 8 people in that canoe.
Before 3rd Marine Commando, you had left Kaduna. You had gone to Lagos, hoping to see Gowon for a meeting. At some point, you were now in Benin.
At the 4th Area Command.
Tell us your story.
I think at that time, Gowon and Ojukwu had gone to Aburi, and one of those decisions they took also was that Nigeria, okay, let everybody go to his home area. And that was when my mother said, no, you're not going to stay in Ilorin. You're going to save your father's people. You have to go to 4 Area Command. Elijah, how did you know what is 4 Area Command? General Hassan told, Colonel Hassan at that time, told her that, okay, he will transfer me to 4 Area Command.
Your mom was working for you.
I mean, The book I'm writing about my mother is entitled Abiamo. That will be my first book, because my third book is going to be How and Why Biafra Lost the War. The one I'm writing right now is called Kismet, The Joy of Victory. So I was transferred to 4th Area Command. All the officers, more than 90% of the officers of the 4th Area Command were Igbo officers. Nwawo, Nwajeyi, Okochime, Ochei, all of them like that. They refused to guard the bridge against Biafra at Asaba.
The River Niger Bridge.
The River Niger Bridge. So,
but they were given order to guide the bridge.
Yeah, the order now was who will be the commander. Now they got one Trimnel who was from Utabono there, an half-caste officer, was a lieutenant colonel. They sent him there. He said, well, he was limping. I think he fell playing tennis or something. Then I volunteered. Because that man liked me. He gave me my first driving license in 1960. So I then said, all right, since he is sick, I volunteered to go. Nobody transferred me there. I volunteered to go and defend the bridge at Asaba. And then Biafra crossed Asaba.
Where were you when they crossed?
It was at night. We were in the hotel. My soldiers were on duty. All my soldiers went to join Biafra because they were soldiers of that area, Agbor, Asaba, Gwashuku, and all that kind of stuff.
So you were left alone?
In fact, there is an intelligence report that has been declassified now, which said all the officers were captured by Biafran soldiers except Alabi Isama, who fought his way through. My mother was in Lagos. You want to take me to Biafra? Laye, for where? So I fought my way through by the good grace of Almighty.
You were Biafran by birth?
No, I was not. In fact, here is another point you have just made. A classmate of mine called Pascal Odu, he wrote a book. I can't remember the title of the book, but I have a copy. Anuku, the Navy commander in Biafra, was from Agbor. Anuku gave Pascal Odu an order. He refused to obey it. He said, but you are not a Biafran. Will Anuku have stayed in Lagos? They would have killed him as an Igbo man. Here in Biafra, they didn't even accept him.
Why didn't they accept him?
You must ask Pascal Odu is late.
But many of the officers from the so-called Delta Igbo fought on the side of Biafra.
Fantastic. Okochime, Nwawo, Nwajeyi, Ochei that captured me was on Biafra side.
How did you escape from Asaba?
All right. First of all, I think we'll go back a little because I had a lady friend when we were in Kaduna. When they were killing the Igbos, the parents left for Enugu. Her new boyfriend, an Igbo officer, Nwocha or something anyway, there was a meeting in the house there. And at that meeting, they said the only person that can stop them from getting to Lagos was Alabi Isama. And she had that. She jumped into the motor, public transport, got to Onitsha, crossed the river by canoe, came to tell me. Can you imagine saying, I wrote the story in the book. She came to tell me that, hey, Biafra will be crossing River Niger by 10 p.m. that day. And she was with me around 6 o'clock. She had just heard this story from her new friend in Enugu, in whose house the meeting was held.
She was a spy.
She wasn't a spy. She came to talk. That's loyalty.
To you.
That's it. That's loyalty. If you are no good to that person, cannot be loyal to you. That's loyalty. So she came to inform me that was also going to... The story is in the book. And my deputy, Isiche, an Igbo officer, he had tampered with my guard. He was dressed in battle dress. Why are you in battle dress? Okay, Biafra, you are going to a meeting at Benin tomorrow. I said, no, I want to leave tonight. He said, no, don't leave tonight. It's too late. It's after 6 o'clock, but I love driving at night. Nothing will happen. He said, no, things are not good these days. and Biafra may come. This is your first time of leaving station. And why don't you go tomorrow morning? That he had ordered my driver to take the vehicle, go and service and get ready for tomorrow 6 a.m. I will be at Benin for 9 a.m. meeting. In the meantime, my driver had taken the vehicle away because he said the driver was living too far. And to be able to come at 6 a.m. will need transport. Those were not the days of Okada or taxi and so on. And he said, oh, because you were traveling, something may happen. I have doubled your guard. I have doubled the roadblocks. My friend, I am the commander. You didn't tell me you were going to change my guard or double my guard. You didn't tell me you were going to change my roadblock. All right. Remove all of them. Okay, we cannot remove all of them. We'll leave you alone. Who told you I'm alone? He said, who will be your security? I said, look Jesus Christ here. Look, Holy Michael. Look, I wrote it like that. It's in the book. I think it's page 58 or so. And I said, I'm not alone. He just said, you see now, Yoruba man in the fear. I said, if Biafra will come tonight, you will see what is called war. I will fight everybody there, including yourself, if you stop. Biafra came. They knocked at the door. They had already arrested all the officers. All my soldiers had joined them. They had killed all the officers at Ogbe Hausa, they called the area in Asaba, where the officers were living. They had killed them. Those that escaped. Ida. I was trying to remember Ida. Those that escaped were captured at Ida and they killed all the officers. Now, they knocked at my door. It was a glass door. It was the catering rest house. And because I had been tipped that they were coming, I already got some grenades, I think 4, and I got a small machine gun. When they knocked, I opened the curtain, and I saw they were Biafrans. About 10, I said in my book, but they were 20 by the time we counted the dead. They knocked, who are you looking for? They said they're looking for Commander. I said, Commander, don't travel. Then one of them said, now in voice be that. That means that person must be one of my soldiers or one of my officers. They just opened fire into the glass door. When they opened fire into the glass door, of course they shattered it, I was able to lob my grenade. They had taken things for granted that, oh, only one man will go kill him now and they will move on. So they bunched themselves together. You know, it's like the story of David in fighting Goliath. You use your catapult. God directed the bullet to go to the right place. The stone went to the right place to kill Goliath. So when they bunched together and I threw my grenade through the shattered glass door, it killed them. Some were still crying and one said Chineke and was running. I followed him with my machine gun. So I didn't let him escape, otherwise they would chase me. So
this is war.
Of course it is war. I had to fight now, and this time I was not fighting for Nigeria. I was fighting to survive.
And you survived?
Of course. So, and then here my driver came. Okay, they've killed all the houses, and all our officers and soldiers, they've joined Biafra, and I had shooting in your area. And I said I should come and check. Then I called the driver, just turn around, and we will go to Agbor. Because in the meantime, those were the point unit. We call them point unit in the army. They will go in front and make sure that things are going well. Just so, since I had knocked out the point unit, it delayed them because the plan of Biafra was to capture Benin at 12 midnight and to capture Lagos at 6 a.m. during the traffic. But you see, that was a wrong tactics. They didn't need to capture Alabi. Just go to your aim.
Straight to Lagos?
Go to your aim.
If they had gone straight to Lagos?
They will get to Lagos.
So what would have happened if they had gone straight to Lagos? It
depends on what they plan. And Bule, may he rest in peace, he was my classmate. I told him that I could capture Lagos with only 300 soldiers. Alabi, you're making mad. And I explained to him.
So they would have been able to capture Lagos?
Oh, easy.
Would you blame Victor Banjo for the delay?
I never met that man. I didn't even know him in the army. I never met him.
But you have read the story of that movement from Biafra.
Well, first of all, the tactics was wrong. Biafra escalated the war. There was what was called police action by Gawan's administration just to make sure that the rebels would change and if you capture Ojukwu, okay, or that there will be no more war, or there will be no more fighting. It was a police action. But when they crossed the River Niger, and I had already informed them what was happening and so on, and I got to Agbor, their point unit came again. The story is in the book. I was making telephone calls to all the officers and to Lagos and to my mother. The telephone call just cut off. And when it cut off, I was blaming the police people. Who cut my phone? They say maybe P&T. The P&T was just next door. I took my jeep to go and see. The driver of the Biafran point unit was sitting in the vehicle while the rest went inside to go and cut the telephone lines. When I saw that, they had a 404 station wagon and had a Land Rover. And I knew if he chased me, he would catch up with me. So I just turned and I started running with my jeep. He caught up with me, of course. At that time, we were driving on the left, so the steering was on the right. His own was on the right. I look around, he was alone. How this private soldier will catch me, God, you have to make a quick mental appreciation of what to do. I had to disable him and disable his vehicle. Otherwise, he will continue to chase me.
How did you do that?
So, as soon as he came out, I was still sitting, but I put my vehicle on the reverse so that I would throw my grenade to disable his vehicle and to kill him. So at that time, as soon as he moved from the driver's side, I was watching whether he had a grenade or he had SMG, which we call small machine gun. That was what he had. The fight was finished. I mean, how will this, well, in my mind, how will this private soldier holding an SMG capture me? So I threw the grenade in such a way that it killed him and disabled his vehicle. So those that cut the telephone line at the P&T had no vehicle to move. And the fight was already at 12 o'clock. So they did not capture Benin at 12 o'clock. They got to Benin at 6 a.m. I think they continued their advance. By the time I came out myself, they captured me at Agbor Junction.
Yes.
They captured me. And
I thought they would have taken you out immediately.
No, what the man was my footballer. You see, that's another thing about this sports. This is Alabi that killed our people at Asaba. So they captured me. They took me to their commander, who was not in. When they took me to Ochei was my boss at the NMS, at the military school. And we went to Congo together, where when we arrived in Lagos, my mother had cooked pounded yam and soup and killed a cow. And we got to Benin, and we got to Ibadan, killed another cow. We got to Ilorin, killed another cow. So all these officers and men knew my mother. When Ochei came, he said, "You, Alabi, you that your mother used to look after us and give us gifts," and I wrote that in the book.
Yeah.
He said, "I'm not going to kill you. You are a very good officer. I work with you. You will join us." Okay, I'll join you. But you have to brief me on what was happening. He briefed me, showed me the map. He said, "We are going to attack Eho tomorrow," and all that. And then on the map, he said, "If they defeat us here, we will move here. If they do this, okay, what is your own strategy?" He said, No, if they defeat us here, we'll come here. Anyway, I listened attentively and I dragged on the discussions to make sure that he was still talking. He said, "We are going to attack tomorrow." I said, "Look, I've been fighting alone for 2 weeks, crossing Asaba to Agbor, from Agbor till I was captured. And can you give me a week at least to rest? If you give me a resting place, an accommodation, I will stay there, give me the vehicle and all that." And he did. So, after the 1 week, the attack was going to be tomorrow. I had accepted. Then suddenly he called me to say, there's going to be an address of Biafrans. They had captured Benin, and they will want me to come and talk. What am I going to talk about? He said, "No, if you just say you have joined Biafra and all that, I think that will boost them because they know you, and all of them there, all the villages, they know you playing football, and you've been traveling around Asaba, Kwale, everywhere playing football, and they know you. So I should come and talk." I followed them. We came back from this. and the attack was going to be the next day. I told the driver, I'm going to test you people, my orderlies. They gave me escorts and everything. I wrote in the book. Alabi Isama, a Biafran officer, I wrote in my book. 9 o'clock, I want you to come. They arrived 9:15. Good. All right, go back. Come at 3 o'clock. No, come at 12 o'clock. They came at 12 o'clock, dead on time. Good, that's what I want. Come back at 3 o'clock. Now that I know you people are okay, come back at 3 o'clock. They came at 3 o'clock sharp. The attack was going to be 6 o'clock. All right, escorts, go and sleep now because I've bothered you too much. Driver, you two go and sleep now. Leave the key and all that. Everybody, you will come back 5:45 and we will go on for the attack. As soon as they left, I took the vehicle. You see, in tactics, this is another thing that some people don't seem to understand. Looking for me, they knew that I would be traveling towards Lagos. Are you with me?
Mm-hmm.
That I'll be traveling towards Lagos. So they had radioed their roadblocks and everybody to make sure that they catch Alabi. He ran away with our vehicle and all that, with Biafran uniform. And I went back to Asaba. They were not expecting me to do that. That was when we knew the number of people that died and so on. And it was from there I went to Kwale. Then I went to meet my father's people and told them what happened. Do you believe it? My mother was already there telling stories in Ukwane and they were dancing. Biafra had captured the Midwest. My mother was still there telling everybody to join federal troops, to join Nigeria. Elijah. Biafrans are already, they've captured it. They said, don't worry. My mother went around, I mean, it's another story. The story is in the book, collecting letter signatures from the chiefs of the villages to join federal government.
The point you make in this book is that Biafra ought not to have invaded the Midwest.
It's something that I have to draw a map for you to see. It was the greatest blunder of Biafra, and that's why they failed. Biafra escalated the war. There was no reason to have attacked Midwest. Now, the Midwest would have been their point of information. Agbor people will say, the northern soldiers don't reach, they are coming, and you are ready for them. They did not have any good reason to cross River Niger.
Alexander Madibo was the GOC of the Biafran army.
Good.
During the war.
True.
He wrote a foreword for your book.
He did.
That is foreword 4.
Yes. Foreword 5, I think.
Foreword 5, rather.
Okay.
Foreword 5. He says in the foreword,
okay,
for instance, the author, that is you,
yeah,
may not have known that the Midwest Biafran offensive was personal to Colonel Victor Banjo,
okay,
using scantily armed militiamen,
yes,
and kept a secret from the Biafran army commander.
Yes.
He says, moreover, the author could not have known that Colonel Banjo had deceived General Juku into authorizing him to undertake the operation to capture Lagos through Benin and Ibadan. What do you have to say?
Again, I told you, I never met Victor Banjo as a senior officer, as an infantry officer. He was even not an infantry officer.
He was of the engineering corps.
He was an engineer, okay. But probably he was interested in liberating the West, or whatever was his interest, I didn't know. But that tactics of attacking one man was a wrong tactics in any book, in any language. Because all he would have done, even if they wanted to do that, go to your aim. And when you get there, in the morning at 6 a.m., somebody will knock at the door and salute, sir. They say, make I bring you to Enugu. Who are you? And I will see Biafra uniform. They even went to worry. They went to, you don't need all that. You go to your aim. If you go to your aim, in the army, aim is in anything in life, as a matter of fact, the aim is very important. Let me give you some examples of the importance of aim. Let us say today that we're in Ibadan and they said, let us go capture Lagos. Why do we want to capture Lagos? And you say, oh, we want to collect tax. They have a lot of money. And since we have good soldiers, let's go capture Lagos and collect tax from them. If you arrive at the Bar Beach with your troops, you have won the war, or you have won the battle, but you lost the war. The aim was to collect tax. Arriving at the Bar Beach, everybody will have been refugee towards Seme border or towards Benin. So who are you going to collect tax from? Do you understand?
Yeah.
So you lost the aim. Your strategy and tactics will have been, by the time you arrive at Abekuta, you want some troops will go to Seme, some troops will go to Ore or somewhere, and some will stay at Shagamu Junction. And then you have food, you have water, you even have milk for children. As soon as the refugees arrive, you start to give them water, you start to give them, to look after them. And then they will say, these are the people they say they want to capture us. These are good people. Then you will tell them to go back. You cannot be a refugee in your own country. It happened here. I wrote in my book. We told the refugees, go back to your villages. 3 Marine Commando never had a refugee camp. We had no even prisoners camp. Prisoner of war, the Biafrans that we captured, we put them back in Marine Commando. So, in that case, you give them water, you look after their children, you play with their people, and then they will go back. The objective remains Lagos, but the aim was to collect tax. And you can only collect tax from people that believe in you and loyal to you.
So they missed the aim of that movement.
That's it. In the same objective, Lagos still objective. Ibadan, we were going to capture Lagos. Why? We want to occupy their houses, and they have good buildings, and we are living in mud houses. If you arrive at the Bar Beach and they run away, that's what we're looking for. We will occupy their buildings. The objective remains the same, which is Lagos, but the aim is not the same. So if you stick to your aim, you were looking for Biafra. Why were you looking for Biafra? For our survival. Why will you cross River Niger? Whether Banjo, this must be an afterthought. Whether Banjo crossed on his own, or how could Banjo carry Biafran troops, will carry, what do you call them in Biafra at that time?
The point Madiebo even makes in his book.
Yes.
In this book.
Yes.
This is Alexander Madiebo's book. His own account of the war.
Okay.
So the point he makes here.
Okay.
Well, yes, Ojukwu knew about the crossing.
Okay.
But he also makes that point that Ojukwu was deceived about the crossing.
How could Ojukwu, me as commander-in-chief of my army, you took my troops, you took my vehicles, you took my money, you took my food. The commander-in-chief must have been an idiot.
Now, from other accounts, the aim was capture Lagos.
If that was the aim, go
straight
that's
to
all.
Lagos.
That's the point I am making.
But Banjo stopped in Benin.
He couldn't have gone to Lagos because I had killed the point unit at Asaba and the point unit at Agbor. So they were cautious. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Therefore, they did not know where next I put an ambush.
But they eventually got to Ore.
Okay, when they got to Ore, at that time, it was daybreak. Everybody was waiting. I had already telephoned everybody. The only person that did not react well was Obasanjo, because when I called, he said he had no equipment. He had nothing to use to blow Oluwa Bridge. If you blow the bridge, they would not be able to cross. They are coming in full force.
You wanted him to blow the bridge?
Yes, to blow the bridge at Oluwa River.
Who did you call again?
And then I called the governor when Obasanjo said he had no equipment. So I called the governor.
Adebayo?
Adebayo. Because Adebayo was even like my mentor. He was the only black person, the only African amongst the European that interviewed me as a cadet. And the Europeans were saying, well, the man, whether they forgot or whatever, they were still interviewing me. I sat down there and they look at each other. They said, wait a minute, this man has answered all the questions well. This young man, he is too small. And Adebayo said, oh, he will grow, he will grow. And like all of us grew up, he will grow. That he answered the questions well, the sports captain of Ibadan Boys High School, and he's been doing very well. And he answered the questions well. That was how I got to know Adebayo very well.
So when you called
him... And I called him, and I told him what had happened. And all I wanted was I will continue to lay ambush. By the grace of God, I was alone. But all night, I could lay ambush. So Adebayo then called the PWD people. The man's name was Akonde. They call him CS Akonde. They called the PWD people. Can you people blow the bridge at Oluwa before the Biafran people will come? They said yes. They had all the equipment. And they went. They blew the bridge. So by the time they got to Ore, the bridges had been blown. The Biafrans could not cross. And instead of going through Wari and go to Benin and go on, the order for Chukuka was to capture Warri, and he did. You didn't need Warri. You didn't need Eho. You needed Lagos. If he was an infantryman, he probably maybe do better. But Akaga, who was the commander of the troops, he came back with only his pants.
You were an infantry officer?
Yes. Yes.
You like guns? You like attacks?
Yes. First of all, in an infantry, you are taught how to defend your country by attacking others or by defending your country. All this, and I was instructor at the military school in Zaria, and I instructor at the tactics school, which was NMTC. So I read many books. Including The Art of War, Sun Tzu. In 1965, I went to Vietnam to go and see General Giap. He said he was a teacher. He was not a general. That everything was common sense. You know?
And you deployed that knowledge in the war.
That's the way even, you know what? The man told me, he said, look, we use what was called the Ho Chi Minh Trail. What is Ho Chi Minh Trail, sir? He said, this is it. Sir, I traveled all the way. 1965, I was at a training in Pakistan. I got my visa through Alhaji Kolo Sule Kolo, who was the ambassador in Pakistan. They didn't want to give me visa, but they gave me visa, and I traveled all the way. Please explain what was Ho Chi Minh Trail. He said, this is it. I'm showing you Ho Chi Minh. I said, this footpath. He said, that's it. If you use the footpath, American troops or French troops will be looking for vehicles. They will be looking for aeroplane. They will not trek on the footpath. And I used that to effect in capturing Port Harcourt and in capturing Obubra and the last war, the Pinza II, how the war was won. We used the footpath.
So books are critical to strategy.
Oh yes, well, it's like somebody reading my book. I'm 85 years old. To have read my book, whatever you learn from there is the knowledge of an 85-year-old man.
Despite the effort you put to defend Nigeria's goals at the beginning of the war, at some point you were invited to Lagos and you were thrown into Kirikiri.
Yes.
How did you offend the Nigerian state?
No. Okay. Again, this is what my mother will say, kismet again. The wish of Allah, the wish of God. Now, I was told that General Gawan would like to see me, and I thought, to my mind, that all the efforts I had put into defending Benin, they were fighting at Agbor, fighting at Asaba, and all that, that of course the story had reached him, and he wanted to see me. They sent a plane to pick me up. Oh, you need to see how long it took me to iron my clothes, you know. And then Oba of Benin at that time, Akenzua, he also had a cocktail party for me, thanking me for not letting Biafra to take Benin at 12 midnight, that many people probably would have been killed.
They didn't want to be under Biafra?
No.
The Benin people?
The Benin people, of course not. That was one of the mistakes of Biafra. After they had captured Biafra and they were looking for governor, and then you were saying Ojukwu did not know and all that. He put the governor there. Forget that story. It is when we get to a point like this, you know the difference between a fool and an idiot. They are usually the same thing. They are brothers and sisters, but the fool, an idiot is worse. At that time, Ojukwu had allowed the governor to be an Igbo man. Couldn't he have taken the son of a politician there, or even a politician, or even a son of the Oba of Benin to be the governor? If it's only to be for 2-3 months, the people will say, well, since our man now be governor, we'll go follow him. You went and put another Igbo man, so you're coming from Enugu. They are already saying that Igbo people are trying to take over their land. Now you put an Igbo man as governor. He must be sick. My third book, which is the why Biafra lost the Civil War, that was one of the points. I mean, you mean you didn't know about Banjo taking your troops, taking the money, taking the food, taking your people across the river Niger? That was how Biafra escalated the war.
Not that Ojukwu did not know, but the goal was Lagos. That is the analysis in some quarters. But Banjo did not follow the goal.
Okay. Now, remember, in the military today, if you put an Hausa, you put an Igbo man. If you put a Yoruba, you put somebody. The commander of that army was Lieutenant Colonel Akagan, because we were together in 4th Battalion. A very seasoned officer. a very good officer. He didn't like me, yes, but he was a very good officer. You know, he didn't like me because 4th Battalion was divided as Igbo and Hausa troops. And I was coming from military school on transfer. We didn't have Igbo, Hausa, Yoruba problem in military school. So when I arrived there, I wanted an accommodation. As a married man, I had paid my rent in the barracks. And this Major Amadi, he was a single officer. He was living in the quarters that I was supposed to occupy. I had 3 sons at the time. And then they didn't give me the quarter because Amadi was there. He was a major. He was a captain at the time. And they gave me 1 bedroom for my wife and 3 children. And so I went to complain to him. He said I shouldn't have complained. What should I have done? You were the CO. Lajima was on leave. That's why he was acting CO. He was the 2IC. And because Amadi was an Igbo man, he was defending Amadi. This is not it was not a defensible situation. The man, I paid rent. I am married. I have 3 sons. And we are here. We've arrived on the date I was told to arrive. My accommodation was not ready. I should give him a month more. I cannot. I've paid the rent. What will I do?
So did you get a better apartment?
I didn't. I didn't until my mother went to buy a place at Odeolo, at Mokola. My mother had to buy a place for us to stay.
So you lived outside the barracks?
Then I lived outside the barracks, and then ever since the man didn't like me because Amadi himself was removed from the Wete area of Western Nigeria, and I took over the Wete operation.
You know, sometimes it's good to go back to history to actually know the where the problems started from. People who witnessed the Civil War at that time, how they were able to manage the situations, how they were what truly happened, how they managed the situations, and the reasons of that Civil War, and so on and so forth. So that's why I said sometimes it's good to go back to history so that people will be aware what happened at that time. So what do you think? Do you understand? Do you think what this man said was what happened, what really happened? Do you have any contrary opinion? Any addition, subtraction? What do you think? Everything he said, was that what really happened? If you witnessed the Civil War at that time, if you one way or the other participated at that time, so what do you think? Let me hear your thoughts on this message. So anyways, please just drop your comments, like, share, comment, and subscribe to this YouTube channel so that you get to see a message like this.